Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Dr. Mangesh Dushing, working as an assistant professor in chemistry at Maratha Vidya Prasarak Samaj, Nashik. Friends, up to now we have completed substitution reactions, SN2 reactions in details, stereochemistry of SN2 reactions also. Those video links are provided into the comment box. Friends, in this video we will learn about SN1 reaction mechanism. Friends, SN1 reaction, that is unimolecular nucleophilic substitution. For example, what is that unimolecular nucleophilic substitution reactions? Up to now we saw substitution reactions. Nucleophilic substitution reactions means whatever the incoming group in a substitution reaction, that is the nucleophile. So strong nucleophile replaces the weak nucleophile, that is nucleophilic substitution reactions. Now we will see what is SN1 reaction. SN1 reaction is the unimolecular nucleophilic substitution. For example, hydrolysis of tertiary butyl bromide. So tertiary butyl bromide, if you reacted with aqueous NaOH or aqueous KOH, so in that case OH minus acts as a nucleophile. So this strong nucleophile replaces this Br minus, so we will get this tertiary butyl alcohol. In this case, tertiary butyl bromide, it acts as a substrate, that is reactant, while OH minus it acts as a nucleophile. So we will get the product tertiary butyl alcohol. Br minus is a leaving group. Friends, if you study the kinetics of this reaction, the kinetic study of this reaction shows that the rate of reaction is proportional to the concentration of tertiary butyl bromide only. That is first order kinetics. So rate of this reaction, it depends upon tertiary butyl bromide, that is substrate only. So in that case we can write down rate of the reaction is directly proportional to the concentration of tertiary butyl bromide. That will be rate of the reaction is equal to K1 into concentration of tertiary butyl bromide. K1 is the first order rate constant. So SN1 reaction shows that the slow step should consist of only tertiary butyl bromide, because slow step is a rate determining step, as the rate of the reaction is directly proportional to the only substrate. It means that the attack of nucleophile must be in fast step, because the rate of the reaction is not depends upon the concentration of nucleophile. It means that the attack of nucleophile is not a part of rate determining step, that is slow step. It clearly indicates that attack of nucleophile must be in fast step. So we will learn SN1 reaction, that is unimolecular nucleophilic reaction, in details. For example, this is the substrate, that is tertiary butyl bromide. So in that case, this carbon is sp3 hybridized. Geometry is tetrahedral geometry. So what will be the mechanism of hydrolysis of this tertiary butyl bromide? So the first possibility, according to kinetics of the reaction, there is no role of nucleophile. So the first step should be bond breaking process. So in this case, CBr bond will get break. So this is the slow step, because this is the rate determining step. So slow steps are rate determining steps. So after breaking up this CBr bond, carbon becomes electropositive. So this is the geometry. Now this is tertiary butyl bromide cation. This carbon should be sp2 carbon. So geometry of this carbocation is planar. The angle between any two methyls, so methyl carbon methyl, that is 120. Now second step must be a fast step. In that case, nucleophile role will come. Now nucleophile, whatever the aqueous NaOH is our reagent, so this OH minus acts as a nucleophile. Similarly, water that is a solvent also can be acts as a nucleophile. Now it has a planar geometry. So nucleophile may comes from the both side equally. So if OH coming from the back side, we will get this tertiary butyl alcohol. If OH is coming from the front side, that is the slow step, we will get this tertiary butyl bromide. Now, in this case, what is the proposed mechanism? So, both side attack is possible as intermediate has a planar geometry. Whatever the intermediate we obtain after breaking of the CBr bond, this carbocation is sp2 carbon. So, it has a planar geometry. That is why whatever the nucleophile is coming, it has a equal chances to come from the front side as well as back side. So, both side attack of the nucleophile possible. If we start with the optically active substrate, the product obtained would be enantiomer of each other. If this is the chiral substance, then this will be the transition state, that is intermediate. So, in that case, whatever the nucleophile is there, that can come from the both side. So, whatever the products are there, those products are enantiomers of the each other. Friends, suppose this is the chiral molecule, then this intermediates you will get, and nucleophile attack is possible from the both sides. So, whatever the products are there, those are the enantiomers of each other. So, if this reaction is got completed, you will get a equimolar mixture of these two enantiomers, that is reciproc mixture. So, at the end of reaction in SN1 mechanism, we will get a reciproc mixture as a product. Friends, now we will see energy profile diagram, that is change in potential energy of the molecule versus reaction coordinate, that is reaction progress. In this case, this is the change in energy while this is the reaction progress. Friends, at starting, this is the tertiary butyl bromide, energy is very less. As soon as this CBr bond becomes polar, polarity increases, starts breaking of this CBr bond, energy of the molecule rises. So, at this transition state, there is a maximum polarization of tertiary butyl group and bromide group. So, there will be the maximum energy. Then CBr bond will get break, we will get a carbocation. Carbocation is quite stable, so energy is little bit less. Again nucleophile starts attack on this carbocation, energy rises. So, here is some percentage of bond forms. Then as bond forms, compound becomes more and more stable. So, at the end we will get a product, that is tertiary butyl alcohol. So, in this case the energy gap between starting and product, that is the enthalpy of the reaction, that is showed with the delta H. Then whatever the energy gap between starting material and transition state 1, that is called as energy of activation. Secondly, there is a second transition state also. So, this is the activation energy for second transition state. What are the observations of this energy profile diagram? So, in energy profile diagram of SN1 reaction, there are two peaks. These two peaks for the two transition states. So, there are two transition states. So, first transition state is for bond breaking process, that is rate determining step. While the second transition state, that is for bond formation. So, this is a very fast process. The cation lies in between these two peaks. Product has very less energy. So, this is the energy profile diagram, change in potential energy of the starting material versus reaction coordinate. The main difference between SN2 reaction and SN1 reaction, in SN2 reaction only one peak is there in the energy profile diagram, while in SN1 reaction there are two peaks into the energy profile diagram. Friends, now we will see a stereochemistry in case of SN1 reaction. As we saw in SN2 reaction, there is a backside attack of the nucleophile, so there will be inversion of configuration. Now, in SN1 reaction, the nucleophilic attack is possible from the both side, front side as well as back side. So, we will come to know that what is the racemization. So intermediate is planar. So whatever the carbocation is formed as an intermediate in SN1 reaction after leaving group leaves, that intermediate is sp2 carbon, that is planar. Because of this planarity, both side attack of the nucleophile is possible. So products are pairs of the enantiomers in equal proportion. So the equimolar mixture of, that is equal proportional mixture of two enantiomers, that is called as racemic mixture. So in this case racemic mixture is formed and that process is called as racemization. So in SN1 reaction, racemization of the product takes place, while in SN2 reactions we saw inversion of configuration, while in SN1 racemization of the product. For example, there is a hydrolysis of R1-phenyl ethyl chloride. So this molecule, the name is R1-phenyl ethyl chloride. This carbon is sp3 carbon. Now first step is bond breaking process, that is CBr bond will break, that is slow process. So rate of reaction depends upon only this bond breaking process. So whatever you will get is a carbocation. Now it has a planar geometry. This is the carbocation sp2 carbon. It has a planar geometry, bond angle is 120. Now nucleophilic attack is a fast process. So in this case, as the geometry is planar, attack of nucleophile is possible from the both side. Front side from the side of leaving group or back side of the leaving group. So both side attack is possible. If back side attack is there, then we will get this S-phenyl ethyl alcohol, that is inversion of the configuration. But if front side attack is there, then we will get R1-phenyl ethyl alcohol. In this case, R remains R. This process is called as retention of configuration. So 50% chance will be front side attack. So we will get retention of configuration, and 50% chances for the backside attack, we will get inversion of configuration. That is for theoretical. So theoretical we will get 1:1 proportion of two enantiomers. Both are present in the same pot. So that is called as racemization, and this mixture is called as racemic mixture. But friends, 100% racemization is rarely observed. Practically 100% racemization is rarely observed. Most of the SN1 reactions occurs with varying degree of inversion. So inversions percentage will be varies, depends upon the reaction to reaction. Particularly for this reaction, that is hydrolysis of 1-phenyl ethyl chloride, 75% inversion of configuration will be there, while 25% is retention of configuration is there. So 25% of the R product is forming a racemization of 25% of the S product. So 50% racemic mixture will be there and 50% S product will be there. So this depends upon this reaction to reaction. So which factors affects the percentage of racemization, or we can say a percentage of inversion of configuration? So first factor, that is factors affecting the stereochemistry of SN1 reaction. First factor is stability of carbocation. As a carbocation forms as an intermediate, so stability of the carbocation is very important. If carbocation is extremely stable, lifetime is high, then both side attack is equally favorable and reaction ends with high degree of racemization. For example, this is the carbocation. If this is very stable, then nucleophile is coming from the back side as well as front side of the leaving group. If that carbocation is very stable, then both side attack is equally possible. We will get 100% racemic mixture as a product, that is 100% racemization. But what if the carbocation stability is less? If carbocation is less stable, then leaving group leaves or present is in leaving group present in close vicinity. So even after the dissociation, this favors the backside attack and prevents front side attack. For example, in this case. In this case, carbocation is very less stable. So what will happen? After breaking of C leaving group bond, whatever the leaving group is there, that would go away from each other. That remains in a close vicinity of the carbocation. So that prevents the OH minus attack from the front side, because electronic repulsion, that is dipole repulsion, as well as steric hindrance. So nucleophile mostly prefers the backside attack if there is a less stable carbocation. So in that case, inversion product percentage will be increased, while racemization percentage will be decreased. So in this case, in this way, stability of the carbocation is very important in case of stereochemistry of the SN1 reaction. If carbocations are very stable, percentage of racemization will be high. If carbocation stability is less, then the percentage of inversion will be high. What is the second factor? Second factor is the nucleophilicity of the solvent. In SN1 reaction, nucleophile, whatever the solvent is there, that solvent is also acts as a nucleophile, because for dissociation of the starting material, that is carbon leaving bond breaking process, solvent plays an important role. So in the SN1 reactions are mostly possible in polar solvent. Suppose water is the solvent or polar solvent. So these are the stages. Suppose this is the reactant A, then this solvent plays an important part for the dissociation. The solvents provides the energy for this carbon leaving group bond breaking. So firstly, the bond becomes weak. So there will be some partial charges on R and partial charges on the Br. Br is negative. So there will be intimate ion pairs. So they are not going away from each other, they remain close to each other. That's why these are called as intimate ion pairs. Now third step of the dissociation of this substrate, that is solvent separated ion pair. So these ions are separated by the solvents. And finally, the completely separated ions, that is solvated ions. Now this R plus is also solvated by this solvent, and this Br minus is also solvated by this ions. So there will be complete dissociation of substrate. Now in this case, stage B, at stage B, if nucleophile tries to attack, it prefers a backside attack, because from the front side there is a whatever that leaving group is there. So there will be steric hindrance as well as dipole interaction. So at stage B, inversion of configuration will be more favorable, as nucleophile is attacked from the backside. At stage C, the solvent can attack from the both side, from the front side as well as from the back side. But still, front side attack is less feasible, because there is a Br minus present. So because of this leaving group, the backside attack in this case also less favorable. That is favorable from the front side as well as backside attack. But front side attack is less favorable and backside attack is more favorable. In case of D, now in this case, R minus can be attacked by both sides equally, by nucleophile as well as solvent. So as the stability of carbocation increases, the proportion of the stage D of solvation increased, and hence racemization will increase. If left stable carbocation proportion, then they form the intimate ion pairs. This leaving group is not going away from this R. So there will be the higher degree of inversion. That's why if carbocation stability is very important. If carbocation stability is very important, it immediately forms a completely separated and solvated ions. If carbocation is less stable, then percentage of this B, that is intimate ion pairs, will be more, then inversion of configuration takes place. At stage D, only racemization will be increased. So, polarity of the solvent, nucleophilicity of the solvent is also important in case of stereochemistry of SN1 reaction. So, in 4 stages A, B, C, D, most of the stages favors a backside attack, and backside attacks gives us inversion of configuration. That's why reaction to reaction percentage of inversion is varies. Theoretically, it should be racemization of the product, but practically inversion of the product we will get in some amount, depends upon the stability of carbocation. 100% racemization is not possible. Friends, now we will see stability of carbocations. Which factors affects the stability of carbocation? In SN1 reaction, rate determining step is the formation of carbocation. Carbocation is an electron deficient carbon. Friends, the stability of the charge system is increased by dispersal of the charge. Whatever the charge accumulated on the system, that may be atoms or molecule, that charge must be dispersed, then that species will be highly stable. If that charge is accumulated, then charge species are unstable. So similarly, neutral molecules are stable, but this carbocation will be unstable. That carbocation should be stable for the SN1 reaction. For example, this is the carbocation. Whatever the G is attached to that carbocation is any group, organic group is there. If G is the electron donating group, it may be plus I effect or plus R effect. Then whatever the carbocation will be less stable, more stable, because whatever the positive charge is shifted towards the group also, because it donates electron to stabilize this carbocation. So charge will be dispersed all over the group. While in this case, electron withdrawing group, it may be minus I effect or minus R effect. So this charge will be concentrated. The intensity of positive charge will be increased. So this will be less stable. So electron donating effects stabilizes the carbocation, while electron withdrawing effects destabilizes the carbocation. Now electron donating substituents. To reduce this positive charge of the carbon, G itself becomes somewhat positive because it donates its electron to this carbocation, and this is called as dispersal of the charge, and this dispersal of the charge stabilizes the carbocation. Friends, now we will see which are the factors that stabilizes the carbocation. The first factor, that is structural effect, as we learn in FYBSc, SYBSc as well as in TYBSc, that is inductive effect. So inductive effect, as the number of alkyl group attached to the carbocation increases, the stability of carbocation increases, because alkyl group has a plus side effect. So stability order as below. Methyl carbocation, there is no any R group, so that is very less stable. While if primary carbocation is there, then there is a one R group that has a plus psi effect that stabilizes the carbocation by dispersal of the charge. As the number of R group increases, the plus psi effect, that is electron donating inductive effect, will get increased. So stability of the carbocation will be increased. That's why tertiary carbocation is more stable than secondary, than primary, than methyl carbocation. So methyl carbocation is the least stable, while tertiary carbocation is most stable carbocation. Only alkyl groups having plus psi effect and stabilizes the carbocation, while most of the groups exerts minus psi effect and establishes the carbocation, destabilizes the carbocation. For example, minus psi effect, fluoride, Cl, Br, I, OH, NO2, these are the groups which are having a minus psi effect that destabilizes the carbocation. Next is resonance effect. It involves the delocalization of pi electrons or non-bonding electrons. So as we know that resonance effect is of two types, that is electron withdrawing resonance effect, that is minus R effect, while second one is electron donating resonance effect, that is called as plus R effect. For example, these are the four molecules. One is methyl chloride, second one is that is B benzyl chloride, this is biphenyl methyl chloride, this is triphenyl methyl chloride. Friends, in this case, which reaction will be hydrolyzed, which molecule will be hydrolyzed in a faster rate. So, hydrolysis of the above compounds in water shows only A, that is methyl chloride, reacts with the SN2 reaction, that is backside attack of the nucleophile and leaving group leaves at its chimal stage, while other by SN1 mechanism. This is because the carbocation is formed in remaining three molecules, that is B, C and D. Those carbocations are stabilized by the plus R effect of benzene ring. For example, Cl bond will break, this is the carbocation will form. For example, this is the carbocation, benzyl chloride will get hydrolyzed, that is leaving group leaves, so formation of carbocation. This carbocation is stabilized by resonance effect of this pi bond, because this pi bond is in conjugation with this carbocation. So whatever the carbocation, whatever the positive charge is there, that charge is dispersed all over the molecule. As the dispersion charge will be more, dispersion of charge is more, then that carbocation will be more stable. So as the number of conjugate structures, canonical structure increases, the stabilization of the carbocation increases. So benzyl chloride carbocation is more stable than methyl chloride carbocation, that is methyl carbocation, because there is no plus R effect to stabilize the carbocation. So as the number of phenyl group increases, the carbocation stabilization will be more. So here are two, so the canonical structures will be increased, number of canonical structure again increase, that is twice. Here number of canonical structure will be thrice. So in this case carbocation is very stable. So hydrolysis of these reactions goes via SN1 reaction, because whatever the carbocation is formed, that is very well stable by the plus R effect, that is electron donating resonance effect of 3 phenyl rings. Third factor is hyperconjugation effect. Hyperconjugation effect, it is also similar to the electron donating resonance effect. It is observed even in the ground state of the molecule and involves delocalization sigma electron. So the difference between resonance effect and hyperconjugation is only in resonance effect delocalization of pi electrons as well as non-bonding electrons, while in hyperconjugation that is a delocalization of sigma electrons. If we consider primary, secondary and tertiary carbocation, the tertiary carbocation has maximum number of hyperconjugations and primary carbocation has minimum number of hyperconjugation. So as the number of hyperconjugation structure increases, stability of the carbocation increases. So it means that tertiary carbocation is very well stabilized by hyperconjugation effects. For example, this is a carbocation, that is primary carbocation. So it is attached to the only methyl, suppose. So this carbocation, first carbon attached to the carbocation, this is called as alpha carbon. So this hydrogen attached to this alpha carbon are called as alpha hydrogens. So there are 3 alpha hydrogens. So hyperconjugation means delocalization of the sigma electrons. So this CH bond sigma electron goes over here to stabilize this carbocation, and what we will get is like this structure. Now this H plus is won't go anywhere, it remains close vicinity of this carbon. So again this pi bond will break, this sigma bond will form. So there will be reversible, that is resonating canonical structures. So friends, as there are 3 alpha hydrogens, so total 3 such structures are possible. So 3 hyperconjugation structures. In case of secondary carbocation. Now this carbocation is secondary. So this is the carbon, this is the first carbon directly attached to the carbocation, so this is alpha carbon. Similarly, carbocation, this is the first directly attached carbon, this is also can be called as a alpha carbon. So there are 3 alpha hydrogens of this carbon and these 3 alpha hydrogens of this carbon. So there are total 6 alpha hydrogens. So by hyperconjugation, as we know the delocalization of sigma electrons, so total 6 alpha hydrogens are there. So total 6 hyperconjugation structure would be possible. So it will be more stable carbocation due to hyperconjugation structures, due to hyperconjugation of 6 alpha hydrogens. So if the tertiary carbocation is there, now there will be 3 plus 3 plus 3, so there will be 9 alpha hydrogens. So there will be 9 such structures are possible. So tertiary carbocations are very well stable than secondary and primary carbocation in hyperconjugation. While in methyl carbocation, there is no alpha carbon, no alpha hydrogens, no hyperconjugations. So this methyl carbocation is very less stable, that is least stable because there is no hyperconjugation effects. Friends, thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, just like, share and subscribe. Thank you once again. In next video, we will learn about factors affecting the mechanism, either that is SN1 or SN2. Thank you once again.